But I think both of us, well, I know both of us came to the conclusion that like we could either create a foundation and just focus on the things that we feel really passionate about, or we could try to look at all of the symptoms of what the world is dealing with, and can we trace those back to a root cause, an ultimate problem that needs to be solved, that perhaps is on the face of it unsolvable because of the power behind it. That's how we ended up with the online world in the digital space. It wasn't something that was sexy. It wasn't something that we were necessarily passionate about. But it became very, very clear to us very quickly, speaking to a lot of experts, that for all the work that we collectively are doing and all the progress that we're achieving, that if the digital world is not done responsibly, that it's going to turn back that progress. And we see it now, especially with climate change. So that became a focus. And then we started to meet a lot of parents who'd lost their kids to social media, majority through suicide. And that's when it started to really make sense for us. And going back to your initial question, one of the pieces to why the digital world was so important to us is because my wife in 2018 was the most trolled person in the world. So there was a lived experience in that, but at no point did we suddenly think, okay, well, let's go and let's take this industry on. But now we've created a fantastic platform through the Parents Network for parents all over the US and Canada and the UK as well, to be able to share their stories and share their lived experiences in the hope that less parents are affected by social media.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your vision for...
We realized
there are moments in history when someone shows up, not for applause, not for press, not to be liked, but to speak truth, shake the table, and move the world forward. On June 27, 2025, Prince Harry did just that. New York City, the 2025 Nexus Global Summit. The room was packed with 350 of the sharpest minds, next-gen philanthropists, impact investors, innovators, all ready to solve problems that entire governments run from: mental health, climate, AI, digital responsibility, you name it. But when he walked in, unannounced and unexpected, the room changed. Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, the man the British tabloids tried to destroy, the man royal loyalists smeared for choosing peace over pageantry, and yet here he was, not running from duty, but redefining it. Because make no mistake, this was no mere appearance. This was a statement, an act of purpose, a clear, unwavering message that he's not just surviving outside the firm, he's thriving, and he's doing it with compassion, leadership, and unapologetic courage. He sat down for a fireside chat with Rachel Garrell, co-founder of Nexus, and from the moment he opened his mouth, the room and the world was reminded of why Prince Harry is not just relevant, but necessary. He didn't hide behind platitudes. He wasn't here to charm, he was here to challenge, and he started by reclaiming his own story. I was born into a life of service, but over time, I moved from having to serve to wanting to serve. Read that again. This isn't a prince escaping duty. This is a man choosing it, on his own terms, for the right reasons. They've called him selfish. They've called him a runaway. But how many royals have shown up to global summits like this, not for handshakes and photo ops, but to actually lead, to roll up their sleeves and help fix what's broken? Harry doesn't serve out of obligation anymore. He serves because he gives a damn, and that's what makes him dangerous to the system, and precious to the rest of us. But he didn't stop there. Prince Harry challenged the audience to dig deeper, to tackle systems, not just symptoms. He told them to care for each other, to care for our children, to align their investments with their values, and above all, to ask one powerful question: what do you want your legacy to be? Legacy, not lineage, not fame, impact. And this man knows legacy. He walked away from a 1,000-year-old institution, not to fade into obscurity, but to build something better: Archewell, a foundation built with Meghan from the ground up. Its mission: show up, do good. The Duke spoke of his work with the Archewell Foundation, the charity he co-founded with Meghan Sussex in 2020. He shared how it has become the beating heart of their purpose-driven life, supporting communities in crisis, tackling misinformation, advancing mental health support, and nurturing compassionate leadership around the globe. Archewell isn't just a foundation, it's a blueprint for the kind of world they want their children and all of us to inherit. And what has he done since? He's supported veterans, he's built platforms for mental health, he's championed sustainability, conservation, tech accountability, and racial justice. He's raised his voice over and over again, even when it cost him dearly. That's not weakness, that's power. Let's talk about this summit for a second. Nexus isn't just some elite cocktail party, it's a powerhouse gathering of changemakers. The people in that room weren't there to be impressed. They were there to be challenged, to build, to innovate. This year's theme? Brave voices and bold ideas. And who fits that theme better than Prince Harry? He's the definition of brave. Brave enough to say no to an institution that demanded his silence. Brave enough to speak up about his trauma, about racism, about media abuse. Brave enough to protect his wife and children when the world turned on them. And bold? Please, he left the palace, he walked into a media firestorm, he moved continents, and still he keeps showing up, on stages, in disaster zones, in schools, in summits like this. He is not running from responsibility, he's reimagining it. Let's be honest, the same people who call Harry a traitor are the ones clinging to dusty traditions and performative charity, while Harry is out here doing the work. He could have stayed comfortable, he could have played the royal puppet game, smiled for cameras, cut ribbons, shaken hands, and said nothing that ever rattled power. But instead, he chose to be real. He chose people over protocol, and that threatens those who benefit from silence. At Nexus, he reminded us that it's not just about what you inherit, it's about what you build, and it shows. And he's building something extraordinary. Look at the topics that mattered most at the summit: mental health, AI and tech for good, climate change, global collaboration. These aren't vanity projects, these are life or death issues. And Harry's been sounding the alarm for years. He was talking about therapy before it was cool, talking about disinformation and social media toxicity before Congress ever touched the topic, talking about saving the planet long before it was mainstream. And now, the world's finally catching up to him. So no, this wasn't a surprise appearance. This was a strategic one, and a deeply powerful one. Let's not ignore the backdrop here. While certain tabloids in the United Kingdom are still foaming at the mouth about Meghan's lifestyle brand, or inventing conspiracies about Harry's every move, he's out here on the global stage, moving systems, motivating leaders, reshaping what modern service looks like. That's why the attacks won't stick anymore. Because he's living proof that walking away from an institution doesn't mean walking away from impact. It means choosing impact, on your terms. And honestly, that scares people who are stuck in the old ways. Meghan wasn't at the summit, but her fingerprints were all over it. Archewell is their vision, a shared mission built on authenticity, empathy, and legacy. Let's not forget, just months ago, Meghan Sussex was on stage at the Time 100 Summit, juggling motherhood, a new rose launch, a podcast, and a streaming empire, and still carving out space to talk about meaningful change. That's partnership. That's leadership. The haters want to reduce this couple to tabloid drama. But the real story is happening in boardrooms, summits, documentaries, charitable initiatives, and behind closed doors, where their work is saving lives, elevating voices, and dismantling harmful systems. So what's the takeaway? Prince Harry isn't just surviving the break from the royal family, he's transcending it. He's building coalitions, empowering youth, rewriting what legacy means in real time. And he's doing it with honesty, vulnerability, and a fire that no crown could ever contain. This summit proved what many of us already knew. Harry isn't lost, he's found, and he's just getting started. So to the skeptics, keep watching. To the haters, keep writing your tired op-eds. Because while you waste energy tearing him down, Prince Harry is out here building the future. One bold idea, one brave voice, one global summit at a time. And to Prince Harry, thank you. Not just for showing up, but for showing how to lead, love, and live with purpose. Louder, stronger, unapologetically.